My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need. And I hope you enjoy the video. So, probably one of the most highly anticipated games this year is finally out. Bioshock Infinite. And I mean, you got some people saying, oh dude, this game's amazing, bro. This game's a masterpiece, bro. 10 out of 10. Game of the year, dude. Best game I ever played. The question is Bioshock Infinite really that good? Is all the praise this game is getting, is it deserving? More importantly than that, my brothers and sisters, is it worth the 60 bones? Just in case you guys do not know, Bioshock Infinite was really my first official Bioshock. Like, I played Bioshock 1, but I never got deep into that story. Skipped completely out on Bioshock 2, although I heard it had a multiplayer. I'm not sure if it's a good move or a bad move that they left out the multiplayer in Bioshock Infinite, because I don't know how the multiplayer was in Bioshock 2. But, yeah, Bioshock Infinite was really my first official Bioshock. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't really know anything about Bioshock. But so saying that, the story for Bioshock Infinite, to sum up the story without spoiling anything, the year is 1912. You're playing as a guy named Booker DeWitt. By the way, though, the same person who voice acts Booker DeWitt, his name is Troy Baker. He also voice acts Joel in The Last of Us. I'm sorry, okay? I mean, I just cannot stop thinking about that game. But pretty much the whole mission you have in Bioshock Infinite is you owe a debt to a guy. And whatever that debt is, because I still don't really know why Booker was in debt. They just says he owes a debt to a guy, and the only way you can repay that debt is to go to the city of Columbia and find this girl named Elizabeth and bring her back with you and give her to the guy. That's the only way you can repay your debt. So that's really what the story is about. And I don't know if it was just me, but I thought Bioshock Infinite was actually going to take place in Columbia. Like, I'm like, oh, it's just a city called Columbia, not the actual Columbia. So it takes place in the city of Columbia in the sky, and Bioshock 1 took place in the city of Rapture, and it was underneath water. So I guess that they decided to change up the elements of where they wanted the cities to be. So the city of Columbia, you get there, and I'm telling you right now, when I got to Columbia, I'm like, yo, have I made it to the promised land? Like, when you got there, it was so peaceful. Here's my thing. When I first beat Bioshock Infinite, I ain't gonna lie to you, like, I was like, time out. Time out. Like, cause it didn't make sense. Honestly, at first, the story did not make any type of sense to me. And when I beat the game the very first time, I'll never forget my facial expression. The day I beat Bioshock Infinite, my face. Dude, I got people sending me messages being like, gamer, I didn't really understand the story for Bioshock Infinite. Can you please explain? Like, it wasn't just you, it was me at first too. Like, I wish I could talk more about the story. If you guys want me to do a separate vid where I talk about everything in Bioshock Infinite, of course there will be some spoilers, then leave comments for that, but I don't want to go into it. All I can tell you is the story for Bioshock Infinite is very complex. If you're going through this game rushing to beat it, just being like, another first-person shooter, let me just go out guns blazing, if you're playing Bioshock Infinite like that, because it's a first-person shooter, and you're playing it like you play other first-person shooters, by the time you get to the ending, you're going to be lost. You're going to be like, I don't understand what just happened. Like, you're going to be lost. You have to take your time. I highly recommend, because when you're playing the story, you can find these things called voxophones, and like they have these little logs where people record their voices saying whatever. Those voxophones, in my opinion, they gave like insight to the story, and it gave more details. So I highly recommend you to find those voxophones, because they kind of do help you. But Bioshock Infinite, when I beat the game, I didn't like the ending. Me personally, when I still really wasn't a fan of the ending. I kind of think they could have ended it better. But really, the main reason why I didn't like the ending is because none of it made sense at the time. I had to go back and do research. I've never had to do that for any game I beat. And even in the most in-depth storylines like Metal Gear Solid, I've never had to go back once I beat a game and do research to understand the story. Because when I beat the game, I'm like, yo, I got a lot of questions and blank spaces right now, getting like, so I had to do my research. And once I understood the story more and everything, all the dots became connected, I'm like, yo, I have to appreciate this game. Why? Because when you look at it, Bioshock Infinite is a first-person shooter. In a genre where first-person shooters are probably, I'd say, the most popular genre in games today, sadly, but I think FPSs are the most popular genre in games today. In a genre where FPSs are all cliche, unoriginal, uncreative, generic, I mean, the list can go on. I can talk about FPSs for days, you know. Bioshock Infinite is doing something as a first-person shooter that other first-person shooters are not willing to do. Its main focus is story, and its story is not cliche. It's a creative storyline that actually makes you think, and it's not relying on multiplayer. What other FPS you know out there is doing what Bioshock Infinite is doing? None. So I start to appreciate it, because it's like, yo, Bioshock Infinite is a first-person shooter, and it feels different. You know, it feels like its own game. So I start to appreciate this game more. I'm telling you, you gotta, if you don't understand everything that's going on in the story, you're going to feel like, yo, this game was not that good. But it's actually a great game once you understand the story. I had to do research to understand everything about the story. But you know, I thought the story was good. There was some moments in the story, like I said, I wasn't too big of a fan of the ending, just the way it ended. I'm like, they could have did something else besides that. But I get it though, I get it. But you know, as far as the characters go, there were some characters in the story I feel like they could have had a bigger role. They could have been developed more. I'm not saying the supporting cast was terrible like Tomb Raiders, but I do feel like some characters in Bioshock Infinite story could have been developed more, than they could have had a bigger role. Going back to Bioshock being a first-person shooter, this was probably the most fun I've had playing a first-person shooter in quite a while. Like, Bioshock Infinite is just a unique first-person shooter, and like in a pile of recycled first-person shooters. Like, Bioshock Infinite was that needle in the haystack that you had to find all the way in the middle of that recycled FPS trash, and you pulled it out, and you was just like, oh my god, games like you do exist. Original FPSs. That's what it was. It was a breath of fresh air playing this game, you know. So the gameplay was incredibly fun, from using the guns to using the power. The only issue I had with the guns is not necessarily the guns per se, it was the fact that you could only carry 2 guns. And you can go to these machines to upgrade your weapons, and they have a list of things that you can upgrade your weapons, like the pistols to the sniper rifle to the RPGs to the carbines. Like, you could upgrade everything. And the only thing is, you could only carry 2 weapons. So if you're going to these machines, really you're only supposed to upgrade the guns that you have on you at the time. The problem is, you see these freaking upgrades like for a RPG or for a carbine, and it just makes it sound so powerful, and at the time you're not carrying it, so you have to wait till you come across that gun, and then you have to drop your sniper rifle, and then if you want to use the sniper rifle again, too bad, you switched it out already for another gun, so you have to wait till you come across the sniper rifle again. and it's just like, I wish you could have carried more than 2 weapons. I kind of felt limited at times. I guess it makes it more challenging, but I just wish you could have carried more than 2 weapons. But moving on to the powers or the vigors, I think in Bioshock 1 they're called plasmids, but in Bioshock Infinite they're called vigors. I loved using those. Some people told me they went through this game just shooting, didn't even use the powers. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what made the game that much more fun for me. The only issue I had with those as well is they didn't have no explanation of how you got the powers. I thought they would like explain how you got these powers, but no, there was no explanation. It was just like, here, drink this Kool-Aid juice and get your new power. Like, there was no explanation. I'm just like, okay, I guess that works. Drink juice and get a new power. So it was fun, but I just wish they could have. I wish it had a story to how you got the powers, but there was none. But the game is incredibly fun, from shooting guns to using your powers to riding the skylines and just striking someone from above to taking on the handyman, which, oh my god, every time he got on screen I was like, jeez. You know, from looking at the scenery to the environments and just listening to people's conversations and the music, everything about Bioshock Infinite for me was a breath of fresh air. You know, there is no multiplayer like I said. So for you multiplayer junkies, I know what you're thinking right now. And for other people who haven't bought in this game, I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, my brother, you saying that Bioshock Infinite is good, but I need to know. You know, a brother's kind of low on that cash right now. I need to know. Is it worth the 60 bones? Honestly, save your money. This game is trash. I'm joking. April Fool's suckers. But saying that, of course this game is worth the 60 bones, my brothers and sisters. Listen, I'd give this game a 9 out of 10. Some people, though, are taking it a little bit too overboard, saying, oh my god, Jude, this game is literally a masterpiece, bro. There's nothing wrong with this game. This game is hands down probably the best game I've played this entire generation of gaming. This game is hands down game of the year. No, like the game is a great game, but the way some people are making it seem like how this game is groundbreaking, it's not that game. It's just a unique first-person shooter, and it's a breath of fresh air when it's a first-person shooter doing things other first-person shooters are not out there doing. That's why I think it's getting a lot of high scores, because it's just a breath of fresh air when it comes to first-person shooters. But it's a great game. If you're a first-person shooter guy that loves first-person shooters, but you're getting tired of playing them because they're all starting to feel the same, I give to you Bioshock Infinite. Like, it's the game for you. And like I said, it has no multiplayer. For those multiplayer junkies out there, there is replayability to this game. Not every game needs a multiplayer to have replayability. I know, shocking, right? The game has replayability. Once you beat the game, you unlock a 1991 mode or 1999 mode, whatever. But it makes the game tougher, and they have a season pass to where they're going to bring in new storylines and new characters and new places to explore. So there is replayability to Bioshock Infinite. Is it hands down game of the year like people were saying? No. Is it a game of the year contender? Yes. It's a great game. 9 out of 10. I love this game. I'm gonna play through it again. If you buy the PS3 version, it comes with Bioshock 1. I mean, it's a great game. It's a great game that has a story that'll make you think. I don't know what else you can want, you know, and a first-person shooter that actually is original. I mean, you don't hear that too often. So I love the game, you know. 9 out of 10. It's worth the 60 bones. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Probably the next game I'm buying is freaking Injustice. Comes out what, in like a week or two? Dude, my wallet is literally crying right now. But saying that, hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I'll catch you on my next one. All right, peace.